4, idea branding, right? I track, therefore I am. We'll explain what I mean by this in a second. Because the power of idea branding is really a remarkable thing. When you go beyond just passing on information, right? The little extras, you can create content that's memorable and unique, and that's what makes a course great, right? When someone refers to something that you just made up the name of in your mind, it's like a really interesting moment in your life, and I'll explain what I mean more in a second. But the funny thing is that this isn't actually hard to do at all, right? You can pretty much take any piece of advice, any tip, any technique, put your stamp on it, and make it stand out, right? And it's worth it because idea branding can turn run-of-the-mill content into exceptional, memorable content, right? What also happens is it ensures that people will credit you with the idea, the strategy, and kind of technique that you're teaching with your brand. So you can use metaphors, or you can make unique names or acronyms for things such as KISS, which stands for Keep It Simple Stupid, right? Which has been a kind of a popularized one. And when I first started teaching Amazon, I called a method that I was personally using to track inventory, right? Because there's a strategy with Amazon where you can see how many units most sellers have left by entering 999, like saying you want to buy 999 in the normal Amazon kind of cart, and it would give you an error message that said error, like this seller only has 743 left. So you'd know they had 743, right? And then you would do it multiple days in a row, and there'd be 743, then 730, and you could tell that they were selling 13 units a day or whatever it was, right? And so what happened was I literally was just thinking to myself, okay, I need to think of a name to call this, right? And so I called it the iTrack because I was literally tracking, and I think I had my iPhone in my hand, and you entered 999 units, so I called it the iTrack 999 cart trick method, right? And that was before I knew about the idea of idea branding, just because I personally needed something to refer to it as in my videos, right? I wasn't going to explain what it was every single time, so I just made up a name called the iTrack 999 cart trick method, right? And I still, to this day, close to 2 years later, right, see it being used in the Amazon community by people that I've never met, right? And that is a powerful, powerful thing, right? That's the idea. That's the power of idea branding, right? You can call things anything you want, but a method that I like to use, right, is referring to whatever you're teaching as the, XYZ followed by one of these words, right? The Amazon blueprint, the inventory forecast framework. This way, your students and yourself can kind of refer to the common ideas and portions of your course quickly, right? And can remember things effectively. And what this also does is this is going to refer to that people will refer to it by name while asking questions in your private group, which makes it easier for you and your eventual staff and coaches that you hire easier to actually address their concerns, right? And so I use this list for naming my cheat sheets and my lead magnets. The Amazon cheat sheet versus the product research black box, right? I like to say the approach, formula, model, process, system, blueprint, framework, plan, routine, technique, concept, method, principle, strategy. Make memorable names for your content, right? The David versus Goliath paradox. It shows real life examples, right? Turn things into stories, turn things into parables, use quotes. It's how the human brain is wired to think. Remind your students why they signed up for your course in the first place, right? Give them the added motivation to start and finish your course. I'm not calling this, Facebook page. I'm not calling this, CTA. I'm not, I literally have fun with it. Like lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, right? Campaigns, ad sets, and ads, oh my. And like we say like custom audience hacks that have made me millions, right? Like, are you more incentivized to click on this video than you would if I just called it custom audience? Right? Custom audiences hacks that have made me millions, right? And like how you can apply them to your business. And so people know what's inside of this particular section, right? They know it's about custom audiences. So if they have to like search for it, they can just search custom audiences and find it. But it's much more likely that they would click custom audience hacks that have made me millions than if I had just called it like custom audiences explained, right? The secret weapon of Facebook marketers and how to prevent audience saturation, right? And then I, in parentheses, talk about lookalike audiences because that's what's the video is actually about. So refer back to the research you've done about your audience, right? The feedback you've received from your irresistible free thing, right, your lead magnet, to describe kind of what's really driving your students to want to solve the pain using the solution your course offers, right? And then idea brand these things that you're creating, right? From your cheat sheet, your lead magnet, whatever you end up making, your top 10, your checklist, and then the titles of each of your course, of each section inside of each chapter of your course, right? And again, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Look at DCS. Look what I call each chapter, right? Look what I call each section in the chapter. It's literally at the top of each chapter. Idea branding, iTrack, therefore I am, right? Kind of making a reference to the Shakespeare quote, right? And so just have fun with it, right? Idea brand, and then make things sound more interesting, right? You have a choice whether you want to make it sound boring or you want to make it sound interesting, and you have a choice whether you want to make it very curiosity invoking or not. And you want to give people a reason to want to open your whole course, right? Because it's going to make them more likely to be successful, which is going to have a higher impact, which is going to, at the end of the day, create more financial kind of freedom for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you on the next.